Here's a video for the Effect Audio X Elysian Acoustic GAEA. I believe that's the pronunciation. You can see the caps are absolutely gorgeous. This has the Elysian Acoustic logo on this one, and on the other shell it has the Effect Audio. Stabilized wood caps. They're absolutely stunning. This is a single dynamic driver and 4 balanced armatures. The dynamic driver I can actually probably show you. This is the Elysian Acoustic X. This is my favorite earphone in the world. You can see through this, and it's got Fostex driver right there, and this is said to be the same driver that is contained inside this set. I find the tuning of the low end of the Elysian X to be my personal preference target. Some of my collabs, I've cited it as something that I'm trying to go for to certain levels of success or not. So that driver that you just looked at is the same driver that's inside here, as well as 4 Sonian BAs. The Sonians were chosen intentionally according to their own literature because they have a more smoother replay than other BAs. I won't name them, and I believe that they probably chose well. I'll talk about music. If you want to check below and go ahead and skip to when I talk about music, you can do that at any time. So the caps are stabilized wood. They're very nice. Single dynamic 4 BAs, Pentacon termination. The cable that actually comes with this, I'm using a different cable because I use an ADI 2DAC FS and it's 3.5, or I got to go 3.5 out of the 6-way splitter by head amp. It's a 6-way. This is the cable that actually comes with it. This is the case right here that's got the branding of Effect Audio and Elysian Acoustic. It's very much like the case that comes with the Elysian Acoustic X, except it doesn't have the gold stitch, and it's got the branding on the top. Otherwise, it's basically the same. Cable, stabilized wood on the termination, which you can get at 4.4, 2.5, or 3.5. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very, very nice. Move down. This company makes cables, so let me talk about this real quick. UP OCC copper lits, OCC silver plated copper lits, dual geometric design, 24 AWG, 4 wires, EA ultra flexi insulation, Connex ready with Pentacon ear, interchangeable connection. And there you go. And it is a beautiful looking cable. Its braid is fantastic, as one would expect from a company that makes cables. When we get to the Y split, we actually have branding for the company in gold leaf. It looks like it's very classy. It looks very sharp. Quite nice. I'm not really a cable dude myself. Yeah, actually I am, I guess, kind of sometimes. Bring it up, and we got a very simple chin slider, and then it comes up to the Pentacon, and it's got a very, very subtle rubber heat shrink that you can barely notice unless you're looking closely or you're feeling very closely. Otherwise, it doesn't bother. It's easy to flex around. It's not too stiff. So the cable is beautiful and it's fine. But again, I didn't use this for my own testing. I did listen to a couple things with 4.4, but my impressions will be, as usual, done off of this set here. Now let's take a look at the frequency graph really quick. Here we go. It has bass, sub-bass to mid-bass to mids that is very, very similar, if you pull up my graph tool, to the X made by the same company. And it's got a little bit less mid-bass than the Annihilator by the same company. So if you're familiar with the Annihilator or the X, this is using, I think, the same driver, and it is tuned basically the same. So in the ways that you enjoy that set and the ways that it plays back your music well, in the low end, drums, bass guitar, how it handles male vocals, how it doesn't seem to get into the way of the mids is the same way that this was tuned. It's got a slightly abrupt ear gain starting at 1K, and then it's basically got a shelf that's about 10 dB tall and just keeps going. There's no real cut until you get to 10K. This would actually reflect my own listening experience, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about that right now. So let's talk about some music really quick. Okay, let's talk about some music. First impressions, 3 tracks in the bass, Packed Like Sardines in a Question Box by Radiohead, Black Sabbath, Sweet Leaf, Sultans of Swing, checking out mid-bass on that. The Black Sabbath replay was good. The driver is basically the same as the Elysian X, the Fostex, and the tuning is very much like the Elysian X, and it's my favorite set, so all of these sounded good. The bass, guitar strings, the energy and the pulls and releases sounded good. Drum play sounded good. Male vocals had a natural kind of warmth to them, which I kind of expect and I consider to be a natural more than the lean with the mid-bass tuck. My personal preference, it just sounds more authentic to me. This plays back all of that well. I expected it to do so. As we move into the mids, tracks like Fleetwood Mac, The Chain, Gold Dust Woman, Never Going Back Again, Madonna, Take a Bow, Casey and JoJo, All My Life. This is where things become a little bit different from other sets like the Annihilator or the Elysian X. Female vocals, Stevie Nicks and Christy McVie, stood out a little more than they do on the Elysian X. There's a little more energy there. They're being presented probably because of the upper mids are a little bit slightly different tuned than the other sets that I'm referring to, and it is clear to the ear. Take a Bow, again, same thing. Casey and JoJo, it's really an R&B track. All my life, I pray for someone like you. It's an R&B track, so it's got a very strong low end pinning down the track because it's R&B. But the vocals are really right up front. They're clear to the ear. They are very much present. This is previewing what comes up with the treble, which is Vivaldi. Led Zeppelin from the Coda album, Hey Hey What Can I Do, The Cymbal Strikes, and also a track from Pimp C, the Sweet James Jones. Track called Coming Up. It's got a great panning effect and mixing. The first track on the Masterworks, Concerto No. 1 in E major. The harmonics of the strings are very much there. I just reviewed the Stellaris by Moondrop. This is in that vein of tuning. And if we take a look at the frequency graph, that would kind of be expected to look at the graph. There's a lot of people that say they don't like the dips at 5 or 6K because it removes a sense of presence and does other things to other instruments. If you feel that way, then you should probably be very much attracted to this set. It's got a very high quality dynamic driver. It's got all 4 of the BAs are Sonian. It's tuned quite well, and it's probably tuned exactly the way you like it. If you prefer the sets that have a little dip in 5 or 6 because it takes away a little bit of the intensity and gives you a longer listen, this might be something you want to see more reviews on, or wait for my full review, or ideally both, the full review plus other people's impressions. This is a set that is very much putting everything on your lap. Now, I went and read something here or on HeadFi, and it talked about the acoustic focus of GAEA is undoubtedly female vocals, from the freshness to the brightness of the vocal cords. They are actually announcing it right in. I didn't look at this until I pulled it up after listening to it because I wanted to know how were they describing this to the public. They are telling you exactly what this is. This is a female vocals, sound excellent on it. They sound very much present. They're very much there because the presence area, as some people call it, has not been messed with at all. My first impressions of this set are the people that like a relaxed and subdued tuning, and I mean to the edge of where the X and the Annihilator are, this would be a little more intense than that. If you're someone that likes the every little detail, this would be a set that you probably would be more drawn to. Wait for more reviews. Ask specific questions about music tracks when people say that it sounds good or it sounds otherwise. Knowledge is power. The more you have, the better purchase decisions you can make. I just gave you my first impressions. They're good. It is intense. Be aware of that. And that's my first impression video of the Effect Audio X Elysian Acoustic GAEA. I believe that's what it's called. And I'm, for now, out.